everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
So depending on what state you're in, the Ren Fair is in full swing.
Yeah, that's right. We're waking our asses up at 5 a.m. this Saturday to don our corsets and farriers.
And while our day of deep-throating turkey legs and sloshing down mead will be perfect, we can't forget the horrors of the Renaissance period.
Dude, how could we forget the horrors of the Renaissance period? They were literally the baddest wenches of all time.
Not whores, horrors.
Oh, weren't there, like, a lot of those?
Yeah, just Renaissance Tings.
So we each picked a monster
Yeah.
from the Renaissance period to cover. So no Reddit stories this week, guys. Sorry if that's boring, but this is still going to be fun and funny and enlightening.
We like research episodes, so let us know if you also like them.
Yeah, give us some feedback, guys.
Yeah, we want to give you variety. Variety is the spice of life. So comment, because no one does.
My little horns are going to fall off if you don't. Yeah, how do you want that to feel? So I am going to cover the basilisk.
Spooky.
So let's begin where it's born. This kind of reads like a Mad Libs from a cursed monastery. So here's how you make a basilisk according to medieval history or legends. So you have to take a rooster's egg.
Huh?
Not a hen, a rooster.
Okay, so roosters, I don't think lay eggs.
Exactly. So they're already cursed.
Okay.
Yep. So take this impossible, likely magic egg, because it's immaculate conception. Now give it to a toad or a serpent to incubate, and make sure that this all occurs under a full moon.
Easy.
Obviously.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Easy.
Mhm.
Easy peasy. So now you're gonna wait a little bit. Ideally, you wanna wait, you wanna search out your nearest haunted well. And you just kinda wanna wait there on a full moon next to your haunted well, right? Perfect. And boom! Out hatches a murder snake with a crown. Ta-da!
The internet life was wild.
Yeah, a rooster lays an egg, a snake hatches it, full moon's involved. Are we birthing a monster, or is this a Pinterest moon ritual? It's funny. So, in some versions of the legend, it says that it has rooster legs, dragon wings, a snake tail, and a face of a demon who once lost in a bar fight.
A little sad looking, I would say.
Yeah, no, super fucking ugly. Yeah, just absolutely wrecked. Other versions describe it as just a really evil snake with a crown. Honestly, either one is bad.
I'm a snake.
You know? So imagine explaining this monster to someone who's never heard of it. Well, it's a snake with chicken legs and a crown and the power of instant death. Yeah, so we have some pictures here that you can look at, and we'll put them on here too, but you can look at them, Jasmine, right there.
Yeah.
As you see, there are big old wings, and he's got
That's a chicken
tiny
head.
little arms. That's a little chicken head. That ain't a demon
That's
head,
a
but
chicken
this one's
head.
a demon head.
That one's, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a mix. It's a conglomerate of all these weird creatures. So now let's move into what the basilisk does. So its signature move is a deadly gaze.
Same.
Yeah. One look into its eyes and you're just dead. Boom. No second chances. No second thought. I've decided. There's not even a dramatic gasp or a tell my wife I love her moment. It's just boom, dead. Drop dead. You're just gone. So there was this guy named Pliny the Elder.
Cute.
Yeah, right? What a name. The first century Roman who made his whole personality nature, but wrong. Yeah. he wrote about it in his Naturalis Historia. He said that the basilisk of Serene could kill with a glance, leave venomous trails as it slithered, wilt plants and crack rocks just by being nearby, and was so toxic it could kill you through your spear if you tried stabbing it.
Cool.
Yeah, that's right. If you killed it with a spear, the poison would climb up the spear and it would murder you and your horse. So, not only lethal, but it's really fucking rude. Rude. Yeah. And here's a little joke for you. Why did the basilisk cross the road?
I don't know.
To kill everyone on the other side.
You know what? It sure fucking did. It probably did.
Yeah. So, that's cool. You get another monster, just like Medusa. I mean, I just said that, but you get another monster that just, like, looks at you, and then that's all you get. Mm-hmm. What other monsters are there that look at you? The Vi?
The Vi.
Oh, I see Repo in there.
Yep.
Somebody brought up Repo.
So the Vi is a creature from Slavic folklore whose gaze can kill. I don't know what it looks like. I'm not diving into that now. Basilisk, the Peeper from Repo.
Yep.
A ceiling-dwelling eyeball that can fix a player's gaze and deal damage over time.
Yeah, it's really scary. There's a couple monsters in there that you, like, look at, and if you make eye contact, they'll, like...
Yeah, no, there's, like, a few video game monsters. Mm-hmm. They have Grown-Up Knife Ghost from Content Warning.
Okay.
And the Bracken Monster from Lethal Company. But other than that, it says Basilisk and Medusa.
Gotcha.
And the Vi.
Okay, cool. Well, because, Renaissance horror tale is complete without weird solutions, here's how our ancestors thought that you could slay a basilisk. Are you ready?
No.
We have a weasel. Number 1, weasel.
That's wild.
Yeah, so Pliny swore that the one true enemy of a basilisk was a weasel. Just a little weasel. Apparently the smell of a weasel was so foul that the basilisk just dies instantly. So to kill one, you'd find a weasel. Don't ask me how. Yeet it into a basilisk hole. And wait for the inevitable weasel basilisk death match. I imagine it like Gandalf fighting the Balrog, just like endless time falling and fighting for months and months and months, just fighting the Balrog. Except it's a basilisk and a stinky weasel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just Googled, what do weasels smell like? And apparently they're known for their strong, musky odor, which they produce from anal scent glands. Ew. The smell is a defense mechanism and can be quite potent, even from a detectable distance. So, similar to a skunk. I didn't know that weasels did that.
I didn't either. And now we know, and now this makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I was just like, man, fuck these weasels.
Yeah, shit, brace her hat. I think weasels are so cute, so that makes me really sad that they're so stinky. Those stinky little guys.
To be fair, they're like too rodent-y for me.
I hate that you hate rodents because they're so... Why does it look like that?
Oh my
God.
I don't like it.
Trigger warning.
Do you want that for that?
No, I don't.
Okay,
we're not gonna show you guys that. That's a horrible picture. So you'll know that the basilisk is dead because the plants around the hole just like stop being cursed.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they come back to life.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Like I know you haven't played Baldur's Gate, but it's like in Baldur's Gate in the Shadow Realm, or not the Shadow Realm, but like when you go over the mountain and you get into the Shadow Realm, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. Sorry, guys. But it's like that, and then you like lift the curse and everything turns green and life full again. Okay. So that's what I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. But apparently the weasel's odor kills the basilisk, so apparently Axe body spray is a medieval weapon. Yeah. So we got more pictures. Look at this. Look at this little basilisk fighting this weasel.
Chicken ass looking.
Dude, I can't imagine that this massive dinosaur is scared of a tiny weasel.
Well, it's like the elephant and the mouse, right? Is that true? Did Mythbusters bust that? I don't think they did, but I hope so.
Elephant and mouse. The common belief that elephants are afraid of mice is largely a myth.
It seems like it would be, right?
Yeah,
I don't think they'd
can't
even
imagine.
notice.
An elephant would just like...
Yeah. Unless they're me, they'd be like, dear God.
Yeah, but elephants are like way bigger than you.
Damn. Thanks, girl.
Elephants like can't even see a mouse because it looks like an amoeba. Like it's just
Yeah.
gonna like... It's like a
little
one of those corner floaties in your eyes. It just runs across. He's like, what is that? Gone. That's not a mouse anymore. But, okay. Question, while we're on this point.
Okay.
So, this is a Renaissance period, medieval period creature, which is basically a dinosaur. You're telling me that weasels were in the same period as a dinosaur? Well, it's not a dinosaur because it's in Renaissance.
Yeah. I mean, I will ask this question later as well. But I have a whole question is like, are some of these things the same things we saw as like dinosaur fossils?
Yeah, that's
You
a
know?
good question. Are some of the dinosaur fossils basilisks?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this place in Texas that I used to live next to called Glen Rose.
Okay.
And it's like a dinosaur park. And you can it's a big river and there are dinosaur footprints in the river. And you can go swim in the river and like sit in the
cool.
dinosaur footprints and stuff. Yeah, it's really
That's
neat.
super cool.
Yeah. And it's actually I I haven't been since I was a kid, so I don't know if it's still clean, but it was a clean river at one point. So who knows what it looks like now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Man, like some of those things you see, it's like, okay, throw some wings on this, and that's a basilisk with a little chicken head if I've ever seen one.
I mean, chickens are just dinosaurs. That's literally what my TikTok bio is. So I'll stand by that. Chickens are miniature dinosaurs.
Honestly, is a basilisk, based on this picture, velociraptor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
So
We need to get into science.
the second way to kill a basilisk is a mirror. It's another classic method, the old reflective death trick. Since the basilisk can't look at others without killing them, if it sees itself, bye-bye. Self-inflicted death, you know? It has, like, medieval Dungeons and Dragons intelligence. So, like, super, super dumb.
Okay.
Super dumb monster. There's a tale from Warsaw where a young man killed a basilisk in the catacombs using a backpack full of mirrors. Just like a gothic disco ball. Imagine being such a walking red flag that a mirror is your natural predator. I can't even get the joke out without laughing. If your weak point is a mirror, maybe it's not power you need, maybe it's therapy. And some people need to hear that. Sorry. I'm too much of a Leo.
I was about to say, like, literally, you're in my head. I was like, as a Leo,
Yeah,
I could never be a basilisk.
I would never want to be a basilisk anyway because ew.
But like, also.
But also, I love looking at myself in the mirror. Sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, ew, you're disgusting. But I
when
keep
it's
looking.
good,
When it's good,
good.
I'll be in there looking. I'll be like, wow, selfie, selfie, selfie. Wow, you know.
and then I'll just go look at the selfie later. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, Jasmine and I literally were talking about that today. She slacked me while we were at work, and she said, "Do you ever go back and look at old pictures of yourself that you look really good?" And I was like, I literally just did it because I was going through my phone pictures because I got a new phone.
Yep. Do it all the time. If you're not a Leo, please tap in and tell us, what do you do
With all your
if you're
selfies?
not doing that?
Yeah.
Selfies are for you. They're for the self.
Yeah. It's literally in the name, selfie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I look at my pictures all the time. And also, anytime I gain a new follower on like my personal TikTok, I go back through all of my TikToks.
I do that too.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'll watch like select ones. I watch most of them.
Yeah.
But but I look through all my TikToks and I'm like, okay, this one's good. This one's not embarrassing. This one's good. This one's not embarrassing.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with somebody seeing me and conceiving.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not conceiving.
Nope. Go through my TikToks to make sure I'm being perceived. Okay.
Yeah. I do that on my Instagram, and then I'm like, hell yeah, girl, go off.
Hell yeah. Anyway, my fucking horns. Okay. So the last way to kill a basilisk is the rooster's crow. Yes. You can apparently kill the basilisk with the sound of a rooster crowing. You know, the animal it literally hatched from. Yeah, that's like being born and being allergic to your own DNA. Yeah.
Could you just like wait till dawn? There's bound to be a rooster in medieval times somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's roosters everywhere. So yeah, if you just kind of, it's like a vampire.
Like a vampire.
You just like keep it outside.
Just wait it out.
Just wait it out. You kind of like do like loops and tire it out.
Yeah.
It's like in Phasmophobia. You loop the ghost, man. It's constantly looping.
And it gets
or like
tired.
when you're trying to tire your dog out at the park and you're just kind of running around from him.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Yeah, and just wait until the rooster crows in the morning.
This guy's trying to tire it out.
Oh,
Thank God for the weasel.
Yeah, poor guy. He's trying not to look at him.
Yeah. He's like, I'm sick of running around. Where's the weasel?
Where's my weasel? Do you think people in the medieval times just kept like weasels in their pocket?
I bet someone did. Yeah. That seems like more of a common thing back in the day.
Yeah.
Right?
People have ferrets now. Are ferrets descendants of weasels?
I'm gonna wager yes.
I would
don't
wager
know.
yes too, but I don't want to say and be wrong.
Are ferrets weasels? A ferret is a weasel, according to this one person on
On
r/ ferrets.
Hell yeah. And you know what? I'm going to say that's correct. Thanks, Reddit. Always thanks, Reddit. I have to keep my head tilted down. So because if I keep it tilted up, they fall back because they can't be on where they need to be with my headphones.
Okay, what's the difference of a minx, though?
A mink?
Minks are saucy.
Is it a mink or a minx?
Mink? But like plural?
Plural, mink. Minx.
Minks.
Minx. Is plural of mink, minx?
I don't think it'd be mini.
Minky. Minkies. I don't know. What is the difference? Are you telling me? Oh,
I don't know.
how am I supposed to know?
I don't know. You
I'm not a
know
minkologist.
things. You're so smart and you know things.
Not about animals, I don't. Actually, I do know stuff about animals.
You
One type of animal, and that's the human boy. Am I right? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is. Let's move on.
Anyway, I digress.
Literally scripted. I digress.
Okay. All right, so let's get into some real life shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's not just locked away in the books. No. Several European cities have claimed to have real basilisk problems.
Okay.
Vienna in the 1912s. Wait, 1912s.
No.
In the 1200s, reportedly sealed off a whole cellar due to basilisk activity. Just one cellar.
Okay.
I don't know how big that cellar is, but that monster seems pretty big, so I don't think one cellar is enough. But anyway, in Warsaw, like I was saying earlier, people believed that basilisk lived under Kryły Kolosh, guarding cursed treasure. So, like dragon.
Basically,
Yeah. Oh, you're doing dragons. So, yeah, you crossover episode.
So cute for us.
The Swiss city of Basel literally has basilisks on their fountains, their city seals, coat of arms. They embrace the snake chicken as their official brand. That's like putting Godzilla on your welcome sign and saying, "We stand a destructive king."
Let's go. Kill the people.
Kill all the people. Look at them in their eyes and kill them.
Yeah.
We love it. Bring chaos to our streets.
Cute.
That's what all the MAGA people are like.
Literally. I hate them.
Don't we all? At least I hope we all do. Anyway, so
Looking at you, 147.
100. Do you think the 147 are like they're because we have 47 Spotify listeners too?
Yeah.
Do you think they?
I hope so. Yeah, because we do
they
say...
were both boys.
Yeah, because we do say in the end of our episodes to follow us on all the platforms.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully they listen to us. You guys listen to us? Do you guys listen to us, please? So okay, so let's talk about scientific theories. So we have modern scholars suggest the basilisk was inspired by cobras because they stand upright, they hiss, they spit venom, and some even have markings that resemble eyes or crowns.
you know that's
cool.
fair. That's
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And the second one is a monitor littered a monitor lizard. They're really big and they're intimidating and they're fast. I don't know if you've ever seen a monitor lizard
have
before.
not.
Oh, that's why you're copying and pasting it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, they're kind of scary. There was
Yeah.
In Mexico, whenever I went to Tulum, they were everywhere.
Don't like that.
Like they just crawl on the ground. I'm pretty sure I have a picture on my phone I can find, but they just crawl on the ground everywhere, and then they like hang out next to you on tables. They're just there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, the rooster with weird genetic mutations like featherless heads, triple crest, or horrible moods.
Have you ever heard of Mike the Headless Chicken?
No? What is that?
In
I'm scared.
Fruta,
Okay.
there was a chicken that survived without a rooster that survived without its head for like a year or something. And so now the whole town celebrates it. There's a whole festival for
That's
him.
like Netherland with the headless man. Or the frozen man.
Frozen
man.
Dead Guy Days.
Why? People in Colorado are so weird. They're
Yeah.
like, we have to celebrate every fucking thing. Everything.
Yeah. You gotta celebrate something or else you
Headless
celebrate
chicken,
nothing.
frozen dead man. What else
Fruit.
is there?
A lot of fruit festivals. Yeah. We got
Weed.
peaches, we got strawberry, we got corn, we got mushroom. Film.
Film.
Yeah, what other
Yeah, they're bringing
festivals?
Sundance to Boulder.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway. So combine this with early travelers misremembering wild animals, and voila, we have a murder chicken. Also, snakes can be terrifying if you're seeing them from the wrong angle after drinking 14th century beer made in lead cauldrons.
That is a very fair point.
I mean, that's what it all boils down to, I feel like.
Constantly on a hallucinogenic
That's what
substance.
we literally talked about this. Did we talk about this on the podcast? Or did we talk about this just hanging out? I think we talked about it on Monday.
Yeah.
When I was talking about how people just saw things because they were all eating moldy bread. And that's where
Yeah.
LSD came from originally, is moldy bread.
Yeah.
So how can we trust anybody? That's where witch came from, you know? Like everybody.
She was floating. It's like, no, my God, you ate some moldy bread.
Yeah, you ate a moldy baguette, man. Just
Yeah.
fucking get over it. He's like, the trees were talking to me. How do you know you're not a witch? Huh?
Way to turn it around. You would have, like, if someone put you on trial, you would have been like, no, you. And then it would have been like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, what? How can you tell that I'm a witch? That only a witch can tell who's a witch, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're gonna hang with me.
Yeah.
And we'll go out holding hands. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's where, all myths and legends boil down to is everyone being lead poisoned. Mm-hmm. What would the lead droppings that we talked about was it Thanksgiving?
Maybe.
I think it was Thanksgiving, but we talked about how they used to do the dropping lead into water and figuring out shapes.
Yeah,
and telling your future.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all lead poisoning or harvesting the wrong type of mushrooms or eating moldy bread.
Yeah.
All these people are seeing, they see a chicken and then like right next to it, they see a lizard and they're like,
oh, fuck.
they eyeball both of them. They're like bouncing back and forth. They're like, and then all of a sudden it just kind of merges together.
Yeah, their eyes go.
Oh my God. My dad told me one time, he told me that the first time that he ever took mushrooms, which I think is, I'm like, how much mushroom did you take? Because I have never in my time of ever taking them.
Yeah.
Ever visualized anything like that. But he said he looked over at his friend and his friend turned into a snake as he was talking to him.
Were like the mushrooms they were doing and like mushrooms now different? Because I know weed is different.
I mean, I'm sure weed is so different. I have seen pictures of weed from like the 70s and 80s. And even my Nana, she'd be like, the weed nowadays is so much stronger. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, science, you know? Like, they can crossbreed stuff. They can strengthen the THC levels. And same with mushrooms. Now people can grow them in their own home. And in some states, it's legal to do so, to grow them in your own home. And you have full control over the environment, full control over what type of mushroom it is and like what type of trip you want to induce depending on the mushroom. But back then, I mean, you just go into the forest and you grab a mushroom and you take a bite out of it, and then for the next 12 hours you're thinking that you're seeing basilisks. Like,
that's terrible.
Yeah, that'd be real. Yep. So now we move into the church because it all circles back around, as we know. As with most things weird and vaguely threatening, the church shows up and blames sin.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. I would never.
The basilisk became a symbol of pride because it wears a crown. Temptation because gaze equals seduction equals boom, boom, boom. You know? And then Satan himself because of the face, but he's got feathers. So
just imagine him with his boa.
Priests warn that just as basilisk slays with a glance, so too can sin slay the soul.
Oh,
okay. Sorry, I didn't mean my eyes to roll that hard.
It's pretty poetic, but also deeply unsettling. Also, this whole sermon just because Brother Reginald looked too long at a milkmaid.
Hey.
Yeah, they're like, "What are you doing? Hey, have you been jolted by the basilisk?" Yeah,
I can tell. Look at your trousers, pervert.
Tented. Wait, what would they call it? They would still be called tents. No, it'd be the houses. Yeah. They're housed. He's
like, I see it. Sorry, Father. I'm just trying to slither in. You know,
dude. How do you think they hid boners in Renaissance periods?
Huh?
Do you think they did, or do you think they would have just like, yeah?
I feel like they did because, I mean, again, we go back to the church and I mean, sex is a really, like, frowned upon taboo thing.
Yeah, maybe that's where the waistband started.
Tucking it up.
Yeah.
Interesting. Does that hurt? We're asking all the right questions
Inquiring
here.
minds want to know.
Does it hurt?
Listeners with wieners. Does it hurt when you have to like tuck it up into your waistband because you don't want everyone to see that you got a raging boner from a bowl
Oh my god!
of
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! We're gonna get fucking kicked off of YouTube.
No one pays us.
I didn't say we're gonna get demonetized. I said we're gonna get kicked off.
But that would mean we were popular enough for them to notice, which is pretty cool.
Right. Somebody's like watching it and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute." Then they send it to their friend, and then they send it to their friend, and then they send it to their friend, and then they send it to their friend, who is a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who works at Spotify.
Yeah. And they're like, why are you talking about boners. Get off of here.
Boner jail. Go to boner jail. Bye.
I don't want to be in boner jail.
Have fun tented up, bitch.
No.
No. I can't even have one of those.
I imagine that's like such a weird. Anyway.
I wonder what it feels like. What I would give to be a guy for like one day.
I want to like helicopter it around.
Yeah.
I want to boner it.
I want to yoink it just
I
a little
would
bit.
definitely
I want to
yoink
jork it. Just
it wouldn't be a little bit. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because like
you're like a
guys do it-
14-year-old boy who
They're
just
like,
learned.
they do it all the time. So I'm like, it must be awesome.
Yeah, it must
right?
feel really good if
So
you're like
I'd probably
jorking
do it a couple times.
Yeah.
I would be on like Tinder and I'd be like, "You want a dick pic?"
Yeah, right? Let me...
You
You're not
want
even
this?
asking. You just
And it would
fucking
be bad
unsolicited.
angles.
Oh, yeah. You're like underneath full balls.
Just balls,
Just
0.5.
Okay, but I would want to like have like a decent sized wiener, but like not too big, because I want to be able to like walk around and feel what it feels like in your pants, and I don't
Yeah.
want to like have an atrociously sized schlong.
Yeah.
You know, I want like a solid like 6-7 inches.
Yeah, so like to bring up Atina in this episode, we've talked about the translation between wiener and boob size. Mm-hmm. So she would have like a fucking schlong.
Yeah.
I
guess
guess
I
mine
would
be
also-
respectable.
I would also have a schlong.
You would be a professional at something.
Yeah, but I would have a surgery that removed inches because it was way too big.
Too much.
Too much schlong. I
You
had
would
to have a
donate
surgery.
some of it to the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to. Here you go, feast for days.
Yeah, it would be so impressive, actually.
Okay. The priest warned that just a basilisk slays with a glance. Oh, I had already said that. Anyway, so bestiaries, the medieval version of like Webster's dictionary.
Okay.
Love the basilisk. Or like, no, bestiaries, the medieval version of like Wiki.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
loved the basilisk. Woodcuts from the 1500s show that dragon rooster hybrids, snakes wearing crowns, and one basilisk holding a scepter like it was ready to rule the animal kingdom.
Cute.
Yeah.
Do you think everyone else was on board for that? Or they're like, no, you chicken-headed.
Well, I think it was only like one guy who did it, just like whoever wrote the Bible.
Yeah.
I know multiple people didn't write that shit. It was one guy who wanted to rule it all. one ring.
Rule it all. But
One-
yeah.
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 Alchemists thought the basilisk body could turn lead into gold and grant ultimate power. See, here we go with lead again. Mm-hmm. We're back to the lead.
People are tripping balls.
This creature was like Pokemon, Voldemort, and a chemistry set all in one, tied up with a little bow.
Cute.
Yeah, isn't that
Magical.
crazy?
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
What a time to be just like perpetually hallucinating.
Yeah, and they're all eating lead, so they're like, this has to turn into gold at some point, right?
Playing with mercury in the streets.
Please, Sam, may I have some more? And then you see a basilisk pop up. Anyway, so basilisk appears in a lot of pop culture. So in Harry Potter, as I'm sure if you like Harry Potter, I don't, she does. But when you think of basilisk, you think of Harry Potter. So J.K. Rowling used the basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets, a massive serpent with petrifying eyes and massive fucking fangs. Mm-hmm. Very, very Pliny. Also very illegal under Hogwarts pest control policy. Mm-hmm. Just saying. So we see the previously mentioned tactic of mirrors to avoid death by basilisk, and everyone was simply petrified. So they didn't die.
Yeah.
But they were just like, oh. Yeah. So Medusa, Jason.
Petrificus totalis.
Sure.
Yeah.
So J.K. Rowling didn't invent the basilisk. She just added plumbing and a teenage angst subplot.
Yep.
And then we also move into Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Basilisk monsters have giant fake eyes to terrify you and a stare that turns players to stone. So another A+ horror design. And we always go back to Medusa once again. Then there's Roko's basilisk, an internet thought experiments where a future AI punishes you for not helping it come into existence. Basically, what if the basilisk was a time-traveling robot who resents you for not kickstarting Skynet?
I don't like that one.
Can you imagine? So Harry Potter's basilisk lived in the pipes, and Pliny, the elder's basilisk, could crack rocks. And I can't even keep a houseplant alive. So now we've moved on from medieval fear of sin to modern fear of algorithms. Is that progress?
It feels the same, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It just feels like it's just a little different, you know? So instead of being afraid of being smited by God, we're just afraid of the AI overlords coming over and killing us off one by one, taking all of our jobs.
Certificate.
I could slide in there.
I know a guy.
I don't like talking to ChatGPT, guys. It scares me. It scares me. I'm not an AI person. Just went back to an iPhone, and they were like, I was like, what's the difference between the 15 and the 16? And they were like, well, it has AI. And I was like, give me the 15.
I don't like that.
Give me the 15.
No.
Give me the 15, please. I don't want the AI. I don't want it. Please take it out. So, moving on. What is a basilisk? Really? The basilisk, like all great monsters, was probably a metaphor for fear of death, moral decay, disease, outsiders, and that weird bird at the end of the village that looked at you funny. Like that crow or
like
raven.
A weird crow.
Yeah, he's missing a bunch of feathers. He's got one wonky eye because the other one got pecked out by another crow. Yeah, that guy. It was a way to explain plague, fear, evil, and sin when science just didn't have any answers yet. Also a really good excuse for not going outside, I will say. Yeah.
I would have totally used that.
Oh, I would use it for a million things in the medieval times.
Got that. Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Dragon.
Oh
no, I guess I have to stay inside and weave on my loom.
Yeah, play with my bones.
My bones. I gotta roll my dice in my bones and figure out what's in my future for the rest of the week. Which?
Yeah,
anyway.
Get caught.
So, let us review what we've learned, dear listeners. If you see a crowned snake, don't look it in the eyes. If you hear crowing, and maybe you're safe. People hear crowing all the fucking time. So, if you smell a weasel, it's either basilisk time or you're in a medieval tavern.
Stinky.
Or you're in somebody's house and they have a bunch of ferrets. And if somebody says rooster egg, that's your cue to back away slowly, grab that weasel, and grab a reflective surface. You can be all geared up. Imagine you have a work belt and all that's on it is a hand mirror and a weasel.
The weasel's just
hanging. I was thinking of a potion bottle, but really big.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those dome backpack carriers for cats.
Exactly.
But it lives on your side and it's just a holster and
just
you can
whip
it out.
Yeah. I have one of those. My cats hate it.
I want to get one, but I feel like my cats would hate it too.
They screamed the entire time.
So the basilisk is a reminder that sometimes the deadliest monsters are part bird, part snake, and entirely the product of imagination and deep distrust of eggs and lead poisoning. So remember, kids, if thou gaze long into the basilisk might gaze back. But hopefully it just sees your reflection in your eyes and explodes. Anyway, that's it. So, Lady Jasmine, I now return from the shadowy lair of serpents and saints. What infernal beast will you conjure us next?
If you saw our Hear Me Out, you might be able to guess my topic based on Jake Long, Spyro, Smog. We're talking dragons, baby. from medieval Europe to ancient China. Because I felt like we couldn't not. We had to include a little bit of the Eastern mythology as well if we're talking about dragons.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
it can't just all be European mythology.
No, fuck. What are we at?
It's like
U.S.
Renaissance period, only European countries.
Yeah.
Renaissance, all the other countries disappeared.
Yeah, history is Europe only, actually. I'm not sure if you're
Said
aware
like
of
every
that.
white person ever.
Have you seen the, like, TikToks where they, like, go into, like, a European country and they're like, oh, what do you think of, like, America? And they're like, they're so fucking dumb. And all they know is Europe and European history. I'm like, ask them something else.
Yeah.
Ask them Asian history.
Yeah. Yeah, ask them to speak another language. No, they all do that.
Ask them to speak something that's not, like, literally their next door neighbor.
Yeah. Ask them to speak Cantonese.
Yeah.
Ask them to speak Mandarin.
Watch all of them be like, yeah, you fucking idiots. Cantonese, Mandarin, insert here, because I can't speak those. So yeah, we're talking dragons. From medieval Europe to ancient China, from Renaissance paintings to Hollywood, USA, dragons have appeared in pretty much every culture and continue to ignite the imagination. Question number 1. What is a dragon? In most Western cultures, dragons are imagined as a large reptilian creature, often winged, scaled, and fire-breathing. Think claws, tails, smoke on the horizon. You get it. Sometimes they walk on 4 legs. Sometimes they only have 2. Some are noble and intelligent. Others are just ruthless monsters. The word dragon comes from the Greek word drakon, which I'm not going to pronounce correctly, and I am so sorry. Originally meaning serpent. And that origin never quite leaves. Most dragons across myths are connected to serpents. So like wyverns and scales and all that stuff. Today, dragons feel like a fantasy, but for most of history, people believed that they were real. I'm blaming fossils and strange animal sightings, religious symbolism, and the vastness of all the things that were unknown that fed into fears and seeing things and hysteria.
Yep.
During the Renaissance, an era of expanding knowledge, but also largely superstitious. All right, so with the Renaissance dragon, the 14th to the 17th centuries were a strange cocktail of science and religion mixed in with a little bit of storytelling. So you had artists like Leonardo and Botticelli who were using their paintings to kind of shape the world's imagination. You had anatomists dissecting cadavers. You had Galileo mapping the universe and charting the stars. But then also, while all of these things are going on, there's also dragons flying around, allegedly.
Oh, so like while Galileo is looking up at the stars, it's just like, that's actually what he thought. We're constellations. There's just dragons flying through and shooting fire at the
Shooting star? No, that's a dragon.
Yeah.
They weren't just fantasy monsters. They were symbols, representations of sin, chaos, nature, and the battles between good and evil. One of the most enduring examples is St. George and the Dragon. In the story, a dragon demands a sacrifice from a town. A princess is offered, and she's about to be devoured. St. George rides in, slays the dragon, and converts the town to Christianity. The dragon in the story isn't a monster, it's just an embodiment of evil, fear, and corruption. Mega. And they need to defeat it to restore divine order. Renaissance art is full of dragons. They crouch in corners of tapestries. They squirm at the feet of saints and altarpieces. They appear in like the edge drawings of manuscripts that monks would do. And they're not always a metaphor. Some people genuinely thought dragons might live in remote mountains or deep forest. Reports came from far-off lands. Bones were dug from hillsides. Massive, curved, unfamiliar. Were they dragons? Maybe. If not dragons, then what?
If not dragon, why dragon shape?
Why dragon shape if not dragon? So, moving across the globe to the Eastern dragons. While Europe was fighting its dragons with spears and saints, Asia was revering them.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So the Chinese dragon, or the Long. Jake Long.
Jake Dragon.
The Chinese dragon were not fire-breathing monsters. They were celestial beings with long serpentine bodies. They were wingless and wise. They could control rain in the rivers. They shape the weather, winds, and they're seen as protectors and not threats. In Chinese culture, dragons symbolize power, luck, and divine authority. Ancient emperors claimed to be descended from dragons. Imperial robes bore dragons with 5 claws, symbols that no one else was allowed to wear. The Chinese zodiac sign includes a dragon, which is the only mythical creature in that lineup. They also name 9 types of dragons, each with its own role. Some dwell in the oceans, others in the clouds. They're everywhere, very elemental. There's even a dragon who sings, and his roar is said to be the origin of thunder.
Ooh.
In Japan, there are dragons that share many traits with their Chinese cousins, but take on specific nuances. Japanese dragons are often tied to waterways and mountain shrines, guarding sacred spaces, or bringing wisdom to mortals. They're known to shapeshift, in some tales transforming into monks or women, testing the purity of the human spirit. So, like, a dragon's like, want to smash, showing up as, like, a big titty wench.
Relationship.
Like, yes! And the dragon's like, got ya!
It's like a relationship test.
Yeah.
You walk up on the
Loyalty
street.
test.
Yeah, loyalty test. You're like, hi, do you have a boyfriend? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, do you want to call him and put him to a loyalty test real quick? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they're like, hey, what are you doing? Yeah, baby.
The dragon shapeshifts is like, I like this. And they're like, I do like that. And then the girlfriend comes around the corner like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. My mom always said you weren't shit.
Those tricky little dragons. What if those influencers are really just dragons?
I feel like some of the Japanese mythology we've covered, they're having fun.
They're messy. They're messy.
They're like, give us some snacks and we'll stop terrorizing you. The dragons being like, loyalty test, let's go.
Purity test.
That's so funny. In Korea, dragons would also merge from the river in the sky. They're kind, wise, and associated with agriculture and prosperity. Their folklore includes serpent-like proto-dragons who must live 1,000 virtuous years to ascend to full dragonhood. They're like apprentices on the path to power. In Vietnam, dragons play a key role in founding myths of the Vietnamese people. The very first Vietnamese king, according to legend, was born of a dragon and a fairy.
That's
Hot.
cute. Love that.
I feel like that's like a...
That reminds me of the book I'm reading right now. It's
Yeah.
a Little Red Riding Hood spinoff.
Yeah.
But the wolf is born of, which he's not a wolf, he's a man.
Yeah.
But like not
But he's
a man.
like a big bad man.
Big bad man.
Yeah.
But his dad was like kind of a god of the forest. And
Okay.
then his mom was Gaia.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the queen of nature.
Yeah.
Or like the goddess of nature.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
and those were his parents.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a big man.
And yeah, he becomes a big bad wolf. He's a big bad wolf.
So different categories of dragons. In Western legends, we have the classic dragon, 4 legs, 2 wings, fire-breathing, smog, whatever. We have wyverns with 2 legs, 2 wings, if you're reading 4th wing and that, you know. We have worms, which are wingless and limbless, giant serpents.
That's a dragon?
Yeah, it's just like a big old...
A worm.
It's just a snake.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just
some
silly
crawl through the forest,
snake.
others look in caves. Yeah. So yeah, literally just like little sneaky snakes. There's drakes, which are smaller wingless dragons. So like they're ground-bound predators or guardians. I imagine probably like a Komodo dragon in my head. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's what I'm imagining.
That checks out.
And then there's hydras from Greek mythology, multiple heads. They regenerate, nightmare fuel, Hercules. I'm sure we've seen the movie.
Yeah. Could drakes be chickens?
I don't see why not.
Okay. I'm going to say they're chickens.
Wingless dragons. Yeah.
They're small, wingless dragons. Mm-hmm. Ground-bound predators.
I want to know how many legs does Drake have? Because a wyvern,
How many
definitely
legs does
a
Drake
chicken.
have? 2. Drake has 2 legs. He don't be standing on them, though, ever since Kendrick cut him down.
That was so funny. Because I was like, it doesn't say. That was good.
Thanks.
Fuck Drake. Yeah, so anyway, there are some hybrids, which are the cockatrices, which are part dragon, part rooster.
Ooh, we got fucking basilisks in
Cock
this
a
bitch.
fucking doodle doo.
We got a cock in here. He's got dragon wings, a chicken legs, a chicken head, basilisk,
Kikari, if you know what I mean.
cockatrices.
And then we have the lindworms, which are long-bodied dragons with a mix of limbs and wings. It varies.
A Lindt chocolate truffle. Sorry.
Did I say that?
No, you just said lindworms, and my mind immediately went to lint. Sorry.
I like the dark chocolate ones.
They're
Do you put
so
them in the
good.
freezer?
I have.
I like
yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, my favorite are the dark chocolate.
Dark
I really like the dark chocolate ones.
I love dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate is my favorite.
It's not me making fun of anyone because this is how I talked as a kid. So I need speech therapy. And then there were the I don't want to read that one because I don't know how to say it.
Amphipeters. Amphipeters.
Amphipterus.
Yep. Amphipterus. Amphipterus.
There's
Amphipter.
the amphipter. Anemone. There's the amphipterus, which is a winged serpent, sometimes feathered. So honestly, if you combine that with a cockatrice, boom, basilisk.
Yeah. Sounds like basilisk is a dragon.
Eastern dragons don't fall into these same classifications. Many have without wings. Many don't have wings and they can still fly, and some can shapeshift. Oh my god, I'm having a stroke.
Are you? Do you smell toast?
No.
Smile. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Some can shapeshift. Others exist between spirit realms, but they're not alone. In Mesoamerica, we can find. Ooh, I meant to look up how to say
The Quetzalcoatl. Oh my god, that we used to say this in. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl.
Okay. In Mesoamerica, we find the Quetzalcoatl, which is a feathered serpent god of the Aztecs. Not technically a dragon, but close enough. Powerful, ancient, divine. It's like a global multiverse of dragon design. Honestly, every culture reinventing the creature to fit its worldview, values, and fears. Here's a little chart of a bunch of different dragons.
Nice. Oh my god, they're like little Pokemon.
They are little Pokemon.
Little Pokemon.
Yeah. Super fun.
Dude, tell me that Drake doesn't look like a chicken. No, just kidding. But the cockatrice does. Maybe that's where the word cock came
that
from.
literally looks, that's a fucking chicken if I've ever seen one. Do
That's
you
a
think chickens
goddamn
used to have
chicken.
long tails and then they stopped because we didn't like it?
I'm telling you right now, chickens are dinosaurs or dragons or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
They are. I'm telling you, I know it in my bones.
Well, there's like that whole thing of like taking a T-Rex or any other dinosaur bones and comparing it to bird bones, and we know birds have wings, and they're looking at it being like, okay, like,
They're the same.
technically it's the same,
Yeah.
so all of these things could have had wings, boom, dragon, you know?
Yeah. And they're finding that a lot of dinosaurs that they didn't realize, like, what their skin looked like had feathers.
Yeah, because
So-
they used to just, like, basically take the bones and then stretch skin over it, and they're like, this is how
This is what it looked, yeah.
But no, because there's also with, I want to say elephant skulls or mammoth skulls. They thought it was cyclopses because the way that they look, but no, it's just a mammoth, just an elephant, just a mammoth. So yeah, I could see these all because we're like, yeah, dinosaurs for sure, but people are like, dragons, no way. Probably the same thing.
They're probably the same thing.
Probably same.
All of these other ones, the worm, the Quetzalcoatl, the sea serpent, those are all snakes.
Yeah, sneaky snakes. Do you think the Loch Ness Monster is just a dragon?
Yes.
I do too.
Yeah.
I want to go to Scotland.
Nessie. You named my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster.
I'd be mad too, honestly. I just birthed a vampire baby. I almost died, and I come out of it.
I did die.
Yeah!
I did die,
Yep.
and then my husband had to rip into my pussy with his teeth to bring me back to life.
Not the pussy!
And you named my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster? How fucking... And then you imprinted on her? You fucking...
I'd be so
Cutting
mad.
it out.
I would never get over that. I would never get over that.
No.
Be like, you pervert! She's a baby!
She's a literal baby.
She's been a baby for like only 5 days, but she's a baby!
She's gonna stop growing when she's like 18, though.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's weird. He's gonna be like 60.
Stephanie, why? You
She's
didn't
a
have to.
weird Mormon.
Yeah.
Weird Mormon.
It's like literally make believe. You could have made it anything you wanted it to be, and that's what you chose.
I think that about every fantasy romance novel. I'm like, okay, you could have chosen any age, but you chose 19.
Yeah, I don't like that. Just make everyone like college age or make them 25. Because
Yeah.
I still made very stupid decisions at 25. I'm making stupid decisions at 31. I'm going to be really honest with you. So, age
Yeah.
up your main characters.
Yeah, there is no reason for a main character to be 19 and her betrothed to be 130.
Hi, my name's Favor. I'm 19 and I don't know how to read.
Hi, my name's Tamlin, and I'm not going to teach you how to read. I'm just going to lock you inside my castle and keep you to myself.
Flipping the blonde hair. So anyway, dragons.
I'll dick you down real good.
Arrest that man!
Sorry, I meant to say that like 2 seconds ago, but it was like stuck in my throat. It was so funny.
So dragons in religion. In Renaissance Europe, dragons weren't just creatures of story, they were religious icons and warnings. Christianity cast dragons as a stand-in for Satan. In the book of Revelations, it describes a 7-headed dragon swept from heaven. In art, hell's mouth is often drawn as a monster's gaping jaws, belching fire and swallowing the damned. That imagery carried forward into the fire-breathing dragons of legend. I almost said George Michael, and that's not what that says. Saints like George Michael.
Hell yeah.
You don't have faith.
Our Lord and Savior, George Michael.
Saints like George, Margaret, and Michael are often shown slaying dragons. These aren't just heroic feats, they are moral victories over temptation and evil. Outside the church, dragons appeared in heraldry. Nobles and warriors used them as symbols of strength, danger, and divine right. The dragon of Wales, still flying on the national flag, is one of the oldest dragon symbols in Europe. And in Arthurian lore, King Uther Pendragon literally bears the dragon as part of his name, head of the dragon. But on the symbolism, you always get a double-edged sword. A dragon could represent you if you're a king, or your enemy if you're a saint.
Huh?
So yeah, if you're like king, it's like powerful. You're,
Yeah.
But if you're a saint, it's like, that's Satan. So I think very interesting because there was like a lot of rift between the church
my ear
and
fell
the
off. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I only got one ear.
Damn, Van Gogh.
Keep an ear out.
You shouldn't paint me.
Keep an ear out.
I like the way it feels.
Anyway, let's sit here and play with it.
Yeah. In the East, dragons, as we have discussed, are used in religious context, but positively. In Taoism, they're part of the natural order, woven into landscapes and sacred geometry.
Landscapes?
Landscapes. Woven into landscapes. Woven into landscapes and sacred geometry. Temples are guarded by stone dragons. Scrolls depicted them weaving through clouds. They balance rather than disrupt the cosmos. Today, dragons are more alive than ever, at least in our imaginations. And also the Dinosaur Museum. We have Smaug from The Hobbit, we have Daenerys' dragons, and Skyrim, obviously. I don't know if you've played Skyrim. I was unemployed out of college, and all I did was sit and play Skyrim. And my mom would be like, "Did you get a job today?" I was like, "No, but I killed like 2 dragons, so that's pretty impressive."
Yeah, I played Skyrim right out of high school, but I played Oblivion a ton in high school.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's fun. It made me feel accomplished, even though I didn't. Eventually, I got a job. Children's media.
Sorry.
Yeah, put those sounds in here. Children's media, they're all over the place. How to Train Your Dragon, Spyro, as we mentioned before, Dragon Tales.
Dragon Tales.
Did you watch Dragon Tales?
I love
Dragon Tales. I love that little pink one. She's so cute.
She was very cute.
Mm-hmm. These creatures have evolved into everything from noble allies to goofy sidekicks, but many of their traits trace directly back to the Renaissance dragon specifically, fire-breathing, gold-hoarding, world-ending potential. At the same time, modern depictions are a little more flexible, so we see the noble protectors, the wise sages, and comic reliefs, but they're always fucking massive.
Yeah.
Huge dragons, usually, instead of like the little cute guys.
We have Dragon and Donkey.
Dragon and Donkey.
They're the cutest
She's a big old. She's a woman of a dragon.
She's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She's a.
I feel like if Dragon was a pop star,
she'd be Meg Thee Stallion.
that was my thought. Yeah.
Oh my god, really?
Like, hot.
Yeah, no,
You know?
she's like that is something
that is a
like,
woman.
Dragon is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Did you see Meg Thee Stallion's going to be on Love Island?
No.
I saw a thing today.
Is it real?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, if it's real,
because I saw I'm gonna be honest with you, I saw Body first, and I've watched enough Meg Thee Stallion thirst traps to know. I was like, is that Meg?
Yeah.
And then it shows face, and I'm like, Meg! Oh, what's happening on Love Island? So I need to watch and see.
Guest appearance.
See, I feel like no matter who it is on Love Island, they're gonna be like, okay, so I'm obviously gonna go for Meg.
Yeah, I don't care who you are.
Right.
Hi, Meg. That would be me. I'd be like, you better drop it all fours and bark like you want it.
Like one episode, I'd be like, yeah, we have like such a strong connection. Next episode, I don't fucking know you. Don't talk to me. Who are you?
Who? Meg?
I do not know this man. I've never seen this man a day in my life.
Yeah, all I know is Meg. I live, breathe, and eat Meg.
Megalomaniacs.
Yeah. Sorry,
Hi, Meg. If you want to come on our podcast, we would really love that. We would basically have 150 subscribers.
We wouldn't even have a podcast because I wouldn't even be able to talk. I'd just be like...
I wouldn't either. I'm not good with people that I find attractive, which is why I tend to date people who, like...
You don't find attractive?
Not physically. We'll work on that. Okay, so my big question, which we brought up a few times, is were dragons just dinosaurs? In a way, partially. Ancient people, like we do now, stumble upon massive bones and fossils of mammoths, whales, and dinosaurs. But without paleontology, what were they honestly supposed to think of it? You know, they're like, I heard about this at the church. That's a dragon.
Which?
Skull the size of a wagon, clearly a dragon. A tusk poking from a hillside, dragon horn. In Europe, such relics were sometimes kept in churches. In China, dragon bones were ground into powder for traditional medicine long before anyone knew the word fossil, quote unquote. Okay, so what have we learned? Dragons everywhere, all over the globe. In Renaissance Rome, they symbolized sin and danger. Other areas like the East, they symbolize wisdom, nature, divine power, all of that. They're monsters, they're gods, they're metaphors. They are fossils of dragons. They are... Yeah, that's it. That's what they are. Yay, good job, me.
Yay! Wow, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I'm pretty excited to go to the Ren Fair, knowing all of this renaissanceial knowledge.
I think so too. And you know, I'm not entirely worried about running into a dragon, but like a feathered demon chicken, I do think is a possibility.
Well, I'm gonna gobble it up because it's probably a turkey leg.
Glug glug on that turkey leg, you know what I'm saying?
And you guys know what you should gobble up? The rest of our content.
That was so good.
You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, all of our social media, all at @whatwasthat_the_pod. You can also listen to us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all of the podcasts, anywhere you can listen to it. And if you would like to email us with your own story for us to read or any other requests, you can find us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
Yeah, so on that note, do you think my pointy hat actually needs to be a little bit...
What was that?